Hello, TTI family! In today's video, we're not just watching a DIY project, we're basically enrolling in Hogwarts without the tuition fees. What you're about to see is one man casually proving that magic does exist. It just comes with laser cutters, motors, and a heroic amount of patience. The creator, a devoted Harry Potter fan from China and an extremely serious miniaturist, spent nearly 2 years building a detailed miniature of Hogwarts Castle. And like any good wizard, he didn't start with something easy. Oh no. He went straight for the most chaotic feature in the school, the moving staircases. Because why build normal stairs when you can build stairs that refuse to behave? The construction begins with a laser-cut plywood base, which acts as the castle's hidden backbone. This rigid wooden framework keeps everything square, aligned, and drama-free, especially important once motors, gears, and moving parts enter the scene. Without it, the stairs might have moved, just not in the way anyone wanted. The staircase alone demanded nearly half a year of work. Initially, the builder tried 3D printing, but quickly learned that gravity is not a fan of heavy, fragile plastic. After that experiment politely failed, he switched to custom-cut 8mm lindenwood boards, precisely shaped using a laser cutter. The entire staircase was digitally modeled beforehand, allowing him to plan every step literally before committing to the final build. Behind the scenes, the electrical system is just as impressive as the visual design. A dedicated power supply unit is securely mounted to the wooden frame, converting household AC power into safe, low-voltage DC. This setup keeps the motors running smoothly and the integrated lighting glowing without accidentally summoning a fire hazard. The windows in the staircase room deserve special praise too. Designed with pointed arches and delicate Gothic tracery, they mirror classic English Gothic architecture. Once cut, they were backed with translucent material to imitate stained glass, giving the room that soft, magical glow Hogwarts is famous for. The outer casing of the staircase room is built from hinged wooden panels that open like cabinet doors. They make the project look elegant on the outside, while allowing easy access for maintenance inside, because even magic needs repairs sometimes. Inside, iconic animated portrait frames were recreated using laser-cut wood, painted in metallic tones to resemble ornate, gilded frames, while the control system quietly does its job behind them. And this was just the warm-up. The builder spent another year and a half completing the rest of the castle. A lightweight foam base was carved into rocky terrain, creating the illusion that Hogwarts rises naturally from the landscape. From there, precisely cut wooden panels formed towers, walls, and roofs, assembled in modular sections reminiscent of medieval cathedral construction. The final result is more than a model. It's a tiny, mechanical love letter to Hogwarts, built with skill, stubborn dedication, and just a hint of real-world magic. For the roofs, the builder went fully medieval and used individually cut wooden shingles, gluing each one by hand. Yes, each one. This painstaking method added realistic texture and made the rooftops look like they'd survived centuries of magical rainstorms and teenage wizard drama. In many sections of the build, plain wooden panels were given a serious glow-up. They were either carefully scored or layered with foam board to imitate ashlar stone blocks, because smooth, boring walls simply weren't invited to Hogwarts. At this stage, texture became the real main character of the project. Without convincing surfaces, the castle would have looked more like a fancy birdhouse than Hogwarts. The process began by carving block patterns directly into foam overlays and wooden facades. A grid was etched into the surface, but not in a boring, perfect way. Hidden beneath all this visual wizardry was a carefully planned electrical system tucked into the base of the castle. This wasn't just a model meant to sit quietly on a shelf, it was designed to glow from within. Wiring harnesses spread out from the power supply through pre-carved channels in the foam terrain and wooden base panels. Once lit, the castle transformed from a static object into something that felt alive, like students might start running late to class at any moment. Each stone had slight variations in size, depth, and shape. Some lines were cut deeper to cast dramatic shadows, while others were lightly pressed or stippled to keep things natural and uneven, just like real stone, which has never heard of symmetry. To soften the overly sharp edges left by carving, the surfaces were coated with a diluted acrylic paste. This step helped blur the mechanical precision and added an organic feel, giving paint something to grip onto later. Then came the aging process. Thin, uneven washes of earthy browns and ochres were brushed across the walls to simulate years of weathering, dirt, and mysterious magical residue. The result? Stonework that looked convincingly old, tired, and extremely wise. Trees were crafted using twisted wire armatures coated in textured paste and finished with foliage clusters. These tiny trees echo the wooded surroundings seen in the films, reminding us that the Forbidden Forest is never too far away and probably watching. The surrounding landscape received the same level of care as the architecture itself. Foam terrain was carved to form rocky ground and then sealed with an acrylic filler wash, adding grit and a stone-like texture. Vegetation, meanwhile, quietly steals the show. Moss, grass, and creeping greenery settle into cracks and crevices, mimicking how nature slowly claims stone in damp, forgotten corners. These details help the castle feel grounded, like it belongs exactly where it stands, rather than being plopped there last Tuesday. Like the original film model built at Leavesden Studios, this version relied on modular construction and layered textures. While the materials differed foam and wood here, plaster and fiberglass there, the philosophy was the same. Carve, paint, weather, repeat. Different tools, same magic. At At this point, the resemblance between this miniature and the cinematic Hogwarts becomes undeniable. Just like the scenic painters in movie studios who splash, scrub, and dry brush enormous plaster walls until they look centuries old, this builder did the same thing, only on a much smaller scale and without standing on ladders. Layer by layer, washes of ochre, gray, and subtle metallic tones were applied over carved foam, giving the surfaces the look of stone that has survived rain, time, and several generations of reckless students. Architecturally, the miniature follows the same visual recipe as the cinematic Hogwarts, a clever mashup of Romanesque toughness and Gothic drama. On one side, you've got thick walls, heavy battlements, and fortress-like forms inspired by Norman castles such as Alnwick. On the other, there are soaring vertical lines, pointed arches, and stained glass windows borrowed from Gothic landmarks like Durham Cathedral. In short, it's a castle that can defend itself and look fabulous doing it. What began as a 6-month obsession with moving staircases eventually grew into a full miniature castle. It stands as both a loving tribute to the original filmmakers and a remarkable standalone creation. With its carved stone, hand-cut shingles, and glowing windows, this tiny Hogwarts proves that imagination paired with patience is still the most powerful magic of all.